Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Brandon Coin YouTube channel, and today this is kind of a resurrected series. During the downturn a few years ago, the downturn in the crypto market, I got into building and selling systems, and what I was doing was slowly chipping away at my farm, trying to maximize the value of my farm. So I would take a mining graphics card, I'd put it in a system, build out a little system, and sell some budget gaming computers. At the time, my bread and butter was anywhere from 2nd to 4th gen Intel, so like the i5, what was it, like 3470s that were really popular, the 4770Ks, even all the way down into like i5 2500s, because those were dirt cheap. I would put those in systems, give them 16 gigs of RAM, because DDR3 is super cheap, and then plop a graphics card in there, 570, 580, 1060, 1070, and I would sell them off anywhere from $300 to $400 for the entire system. Nowadays, it's like people would be buying those up like crazy, but every now and then I get one that calls me and says, hey man, I got problems going on with it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this system actually just came back. I sold this one. It's probably been over a year, 2 years now. It has a 570, I believe 4 gig. It might be an 8 gig, we'll see, in there. And it's also got some sort of i5, I believe. So let's pop it open. He said it's running super, super slow. He doesn't know what's going on. Let's see what it's doing. So, go. All right, guys. So let's get it popped open real quick. I don't remember exactly what this is because it's been a while. But I do see that it is a Sapphire card in here. This is one of those cheap little, I don't know, they used to be like 40 bucks. They're probably a little bit more now. Cases, I would buy them up like they were going out of style. It's not a real glass side. It's like plastic or some kind of polycarbonate. But they're still pretty cool for the price. So it looks like a Sapphire, and it is a no sticker model. I guess we'll boot it up and see what it says. Intel board, looks like one of the older ones. 4 gigs, so this has got 8 gigs of RAM. I always try to pop them open and see if like there's anything super visible. All the cables are plugged in, everything looks good. So let me get this bad boy plugged in and see how she's running. All right, so it's all plugged in. It looks like this is a Sapphire mining card, because if you look back here, it's only got one display out and it's a DVI. So that was one of the very, very popular mining GPUs back in the day. Still is, I guess. Oh, we got some RGB over here on the side. Can you see that? Kinda. Hold on. Check her out. Yeah, this is a pretty cool case for the money. I don't know if you can still buy these. They're by Raid Max. Good for budget builds. Alrighty. So. All right, I'm gonna let this thing fire up and get into Windows, and then we'll see what we got going on here. All right, guys, so jumping into it, this is an i5 2500, so an old quad core, and this was an RX 470 4 gigabyte. So old mining card. Looks like everything is running how it should. Normally I like to open up Device Manager, make sure we don't have any conflicts going on in there, say with drivers or anything. I don't, okay, I mean I don't see, oh, I see some Avast. Oh no, Avast antivirus, Avast antivirus. So I'm not a big antivirus guy. I don't recommend a ton of them, and I don't recommend a lot of them that run all the time. He said he was having a lot of issues with opening games, so I don't want to leak any information because I don't want to like put anybody's stuff out there. So I am going to open up some games and see how it actually runs. Alright, so for the life of me, I can't get this system to crash. I can't get it to go offline. It's actually fairly responsive for a 2nd gen Intel. I mean, these bad boys are old. I called him And apparently the issue is when his son is playing on Roblox, the computer crashes and black screens and restarts. I've had Roblox running for a little bit. I noticed memory usage is pretty high. We're at 5.2 out of 8 gigabytes. I don't know if it's hitting memory limit. Maybe on some Roblox games it's got a little bit of a leak there. Memory leaks aren't as common as they used to be back in the day. CPU is usable levels. It's got an SSD. SSD's doing fine. So I'm not sure. I'm not a big Roblox guy. I really don't know what I'm doing. So I was trying to jump around, and apparently this is the game that his son plays a lot. So we're here, I guess. I don't know. He seems to think the graphics card does have an issue. So for me being just you know, trying to do the right thing, I think I'm gonna swap him out and take this RX 474 gigabyte out. I have an RX 574 gig. It's actually an MSI Gaming X, or a MSI Gaming. It's not a Gaming X. I'm gonna put that in there and just basically trade him out and see if that fixes his issue. If it does, that's great. He can keep it. You know, I'll consider it a basically one-to-one exchange, even though technically like the MSI card, in my opinion, is more desirable. But I just trying to do right by people. I thought this was going to be more interesting of a video to record, but yeah, so there we are, ladies and gentlemen. I asked him if he wanted to actually pay and upgrade and maybe get something bigger. Yeah, he did not like any of the pricing. I wasn't gouging or anything like that. It's just right now graphics cards are really expensive. And I went back and I asked him, I was like, how much did I sell you this entire system for? And he was like, yeah, man, it was 300 bucks. And it was like a little over 2 years ago. So yeah, 2 years ago, you could get an entire computer. Looks like, I think I had a 500 watt power supply in there, 8 gigs of RAM, little i5, and a 474 gig for 300 bucks. And heck, I think even just a month or 2 months ago, those 474 gigs were selling for over $300. Actually, let's go look on eBay right now. All right, so these are all not working parts only. It looks like the first one I have found that actually is working, $274. And this is the exact same card. It's DVI only. It is a mining graphics card, but you can actually use it for doing some light gaming as long as you don't mind having one display output. So 274 bucks. I'd say my man did pretty good owning this thing for the last 2 years, and basically, yeah, he could sell the graphics card out of it and recoup almost 80% of what he had invested into it. So unfortunately, he was asking about upgrading the CPU and RAM. I told him I could stick a little bit more RAM in for him. I have a ton of like DDR3 laying around, but I don't have any of the older Intel chips anymore. I basically sold those off, and I got out of system building whenever I didn't have an abundance of extra GPUs. So this is one thing that can be done in a very bearish market. And for example, if you need to generate some money, this was back when, hold on one second. This was back when I just moved into my new house where I'm at now, and I needed some money. I had some stuff going on. I was still self-employed, so I still had my own construction company, but times were getting tight. So I was selling off 1 to 2 systems a week. And back then, I think I was up to like 50 or 60 GPUs. So selling off 1 or 2 GPUs here and there wasn't a big deal. And me freeing up, and I think I was actually profiting about $150 to $200 on each of these systems, just because the parts were so cheap. I swear I was getting those i5 2500s for like less than 10 bucks. You know what? I'm gonna look on eBay. What are they going for now? I bet they still have to be cheap. There's no way they're expensive. They're becoming unusable. Quad cores are just not what they used to be. i5 2500. Looks like buy it now, lowest price. That's parts only. So it's probably broken. Here we go, pre-owned. So it looks like 25 bucks. So $21. Oh, that's got $3.50 shipping. So for about $25, you can get that chip that I was paying. I want to say when I was buying them in bulk, I was getting them between $5 to $7. So that's crazy. They've gone up. They've what, almost quadrupled in price. They've at least tripled in price, and this is like who's still using these? Oh, these are 2500Ss, so that's a lower clocked one. Here you go. That's a regular 2500. See, the 2500S is a 2.7 gig, and this one's a 3.3 gigahertz. So, yeah, I don't know who's using these. I guess you could be using them for like little small servers and that kind of thing. Wonder about the motherboards. I just looked. It is a DH77EB. So DH77EB. There's one. DH77EB, $44. That's actually still pretty cheap. I want to say at the time I was getting these motherboards for about 20 bucks. So they've doubled in price. There's one for 60. And there's not very many of them. Back then the eBay was flooded with these motherboards. So yeah, parts are drying up across the board. It's kind of crazy to think about it. And then you know, I was using Intel stock coolers and regular old DDR3, so I wasn't spending a ton there. But yeah, so hopefully this gives you guys an understanding of what I was doing with some of my cards during the bear market and why I trimmed down. I was trying to get rid of my my less desirable cards first, so my 4 GB cards, because I knew Ethereum wouldn't be able to be mined on them anymore and that kind of thing. And I tried to keep some of my more desirable ones, but I trimmed down pretty slim. I went from about 50 cards down to I think 6 or 7, and then we've been slowly building back up with time and how it's been going. So, but yeah. Oh, there's Simba.